Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Elisa Slodzinska, and I work for the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, BACP. Welcome to the BACP Business Education Workshop Webinar Series. We have adapted our regular business education workshops at City Hall into these webinars until further notice. I want to inform you that business licenses can be processed online where applicable by visiting chicagobusinessdirect.org. Please note any website or email that I mentioned will be posted in the chat box for reference. If you are part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. If you want to learn about the program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. Once again, any website or emails I mentioned will be posted in the chat box. We encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box and send your questions to all panelists. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And today's presenter is Jaime Garza with ESDC, and the topic is going to be the future of marketing, visual storytelling. Hello and welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much to Alyssa and Geraldine from the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. I'm here on behalf of ESDC, a 44-year-old nonprofit organization in the Pilsen area here in Chicago. And we've been, working for so many years, helping out small businesses, entrepreneurs, from the beginning, from the planning stages to even to the corporation stage, and hiring, thousands of people. So a few things that we do with ESDC is that we assist in every aspect of business, which is from creating your LLC or S Corp, all the way to helping out in marketing, and also giving opportunities for some events that we organize throughout the year to this end, to promote businesses and help you guys grow. I want to say also happy Hispanic Heritage Month. At our office, we offer bilingual workshops and bilingual services in Spanish and English throughout the year, and I'm happy this time with BACP that they reached out for us also to help out the Hispanic community. Cualquier pregunta que quieran hacer al final, las podrían hacer en español y estamos aquí dispuestos a contestarlas en su propio idioma, or also in English. We would translate the answers for certain questions you may have. I'm Jaime Garza. I'm a project and events manager at ESDC. Really, I run a few different programs and a few different events. I do a big festival, Mole de Mayo, one that's coming up, Buen Provecho, which is a restaurant tour. And these are all things that ESDC does to help out the community businesses. But helping out these businesses, you start learning certain patterns that work. And that's why this presentation, because I've seen that the first step into promoting is a wow reaction of people. If people don't react to your advertising, to your business, you're missing something. And that wow factor grows when you do video. A quick wow factor, you know, you see a picture of someone eating an ice cream, and your reaction is like, oh, it looks like a good ice cream. So the next step, when you see someone actually digging into that ice cream, um, now you have a different reaction. So it becomes emotional. It becomes you start tasting the flavors of that ice cream, and and now you acquired a wow factor, and with that wow factor comes a new potential new client. So that's the kind of thing we're gonna be talking about. Um, I'll go I'll go very slow. I'll go step by step. This is a very short workshop. It's only about 60 minutes, and there's a lot more that there is to learn about video marketing, visual storytelling. But these are only a few tips and best practices for you guys to help to start doing video marketing for your service or your business. Um, I'm this is not an advanced class. This is really basics. I am planning uh, to give a part two of the future of marketing, where we'll talk more in detail and how to craft certain type of ads depending on the type of business that you're doing. Um, I'm going to go through this slide. It's a very short slide, but it'll give you a basic understanding of what's going on, who am I, who is ESDC, and how to do visual storytelling for marketing your business. So as I said, my name is Jaime Garza, Project and Events Manager at ESDC. Um, I am also a professional musician. I've been a musician for about 20 years. I've toured the U.S., Mexico, and Cuba, and uh, making music and promoting music, and also helping other musicians, you know, uh, work on their craft. Um, I'm a professional musician by trade. I am also a graphic designer, which has helped me also visualize video making. You have certain things that visual aspect of the graphic design world helps a lot. The composition of of video to make it more impactful or more interesting, scary, and bring out feelings in people. Um, with ESDC, I'm an event producer, so I'll work on logistics and sponsorship programs, workshops like this. Uh, I'm also a culture ambassador, and what I mean by that is I take very personal my cultural heritage. I'm Mexican, Mexican American, and I I I want people to know who I am, what I do, and how I do it, and that these values come from a very special place, Mexico, and the music that I do, the graphic design that I do, the event production that I want to do, that I help put together, has a very strong uh, a very strong cultural background to it, and I think that is very important. And I'm talking about this not just because of me, but because I think this is going to help uh, the business owner or marketers on how to tell personal stories. This is very important. So I take very I'm very proud Mexican American, and I call myself a cultural ambassador because of that. I am also a small business owner with uh, these these skills that I've learned over the years. I've learned how to just kind of put them all into one and have a small business and offer these services to either different businesses, organizations, uh, even small like concert gatherings. So I organize all the logistics of that. all the budgets on that, even the marketing on that. So this is kind of just me in a nutshell, just so you guys can know who is speaking to you. And feel free to send questions as soon as they come up in your mind. We'll read them at the end, and I'll try to answer every one of them as best as I can. So let's get into video and social media. So a clear message in visual storytelling attracts and captivates audiences. Now, how and when and what to use are really subjective. You could, depending on your service or business, is the social media um, app that you're going to use. Now, I know a lot of people have services. So one of the services could be, well, you're a website designer, or you're a graphic designer, or you're a consultant, or you're a lawyer. These are services. And then on the other side, it's products, right? You have a grocery store, or you have a food, you sell some type of food either to restaurants or to the public in general. Now, these things you need to be very clear of, so that we could understand what social media platform we're going to use. Um, and and I'm gonna throw in some numbers, but um, these numbers are fluctuating, and they're not 100% all the time. But if your service or product um, is for an audience of people that are, let's say, 8 years old to 15 years old, I would suggest that TikTok would be a platform that you would use. If your service or your product is for people above 50 or 60 years old, I would use LinkedIn. So this is kind of the range where you need to be like, well, um, my audience is between this age, this socioeconomic group, maybe even from this part of the city. So you'll do some research on what platform is the best to reach them. Now, this is not do one and not the other. It's like, no, well, you could get three, and I would suggest three platforms to promote your business or service. Um, there's age groups. So at least in my eyes, TikTok is the younger generation, the younger people. The next one would be Instagram, and then maybe in the 30s would be Facebook. Uh, Now everything can be hosted and live on YouTube. YouTube, I think, is one of the biggest social media platforms that can hold your videos, that can save your videos, that it's easy to copy and send it to a client, or to make it live there forever. So YouTube is a very, very important an important app that 90% of the people use for all types of things. And it could be from promoting your business, or just telling your life story, your interest, and just interesting things that you want to share. Um, all of this will be organizing it on future slides. But I just want to make sure that you guys know what social media apps are out there, and then kind of define where do you think your audience is. Um, if you have any questions, please chat them, and we will answer them at the end of the presentation. So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok are your friends. Uh, these apps are free. Um, a lot of people are using them to promote their businesses very successfully. Um, Especially when you learn how the algorithms work for each one. um, you will be testing things out on one or on another, and you'll see the response. And they're pretty easy to follow, the numbers and the views and the likes and the clicks, that you start recognizing what is working and what is not working in terms of your video. um, YouTube has, the you could tell, the nerd stats. You could see who's watching your video, where are they from, even sometimes what are their age groups. Facebook has also some very special features. Some they charge for, but you could access some that are free, where you could see how many likes did you get, how many views did you get, how many seconds did they watch from your video. So these are very, very important tools that they're going to be around for a long, long time. So might as well jump in now and start growing your following, start growing your audience, that hopefully they will become clients, right? And we know that most businesses live through return clients. So once you have a client, you want to treat them very good. You want to make them comfortable, and you want them to come back to either buy your service, or buy your product. So these social media tools are so important nowadays, and they will be for a long, long time. So two things: website versus social media. Now, what I mean by this is, some social media is not necessarily a sales component. Um, and when I say website, I do mean the sales component. Um, your website, it's a little bit harder to get to. Social media is pretty easy to get to. Um, your website, you could host pictures of your product, and people could just click it and buy it. Social media is not like that. So these two things work hand in hand. Um, so we use social media to drive people to our website. Now, how can you drive people from your social media to your website? Well, there's a lot of different ways, right? One way is really putting a picture and saying 10% off today only. Um, Another way is, is to show a video of what your product is, how you make it, uh, show pictures of happy customers wearing their shoes that they bought from your store, um, or eating at your restaurant. So social media is the driver. Your website is where you want to make your sale. Now, there is a lot of steps to that, but that's the basic flow. People don't go into websites directly. People usually either find it on a business card, find it on a flyer or a newspaper ad, or they're driven through social media. So if we were to work backwards, we would say, all right, well, my consumer is going to arrive at my website. I need my website to look, to read clearly, to show what is my product or my service clearly, and to give steps of what to do to consume my product, to buy my shoes, my shirt, my to order my food. So if we were to work backwards, we know that this is where we want people to land, and our website, and we want them to click on our product and to purchase. Now we need to make sure that's working, and that's really tight, really good, colorful, and beautiful. Um, that way, now Once that's done, now we're going to go to social media. Now we're going to work on driving people to our website. Now, there's a lot of different ways to drive people to the website. I mean, one of the main things is that SEO, uh, keywords from Google to, if they search for tacos, they will go directly to, they will find your website as a number one. Buying SEOs is very important, but we're talking about free uh, advertising, free marketing, free driving people to your website to make a sale. Social media is the way to do it. It's a free way to do it, and so website versus social media is not necessarily a either you do one or you do the other. They both work in concert. So we'll focus on having our website ready, and then we'll attack social media with video to attract these new customers or clients, to hopefully make a purchase and hopefully be a returning customer. A picture is worth a thousand. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video has to be worth at least 1.8 million words. Dr. James McKeevy in 27, that's what he said, and he's talking about a 60-second video. Now, he did the math on this. It's very simple. If you see a picture and you say it's worth 1,000 words, every video is either 24 or 30 frames per second. So he did the math on it, and that's at least 1.8 million words. And more than words, I would say if 1,000 words creates one feeling inside a consumer, 1.8 million words will create an emotion. And we're in the business of emotion. Uh, People buy because of emotions. They feel comfortable. They like the product. They like the reaction of themselves or of other people. So video is 1,000 times more effective than a picture. So this is just really science and math making the numbers to show you how important video is. Now, how will you use the power of video to tell your story? There's a lot of different ways, and we're gonna speak about a few of these. But in we're all unique, right? We're all unique. We all have aspirations. Our companies are unique. Our employees are unique. There's a lot of things that you can attach to or think about to showcase your product or your service. There's very few people that do your specific work, and our job is to be out there, have people listen, see us, and when you make that personal connection through video, it's a very special thing. Video it demands attention, unlike words on a paper where you could pass by and see it and not have to stop. A video, it's moving, so it's a time kind of thing where it's like, well, it demands your attention for at least those 3 seconds or those 60 seconds or there's those 12 minutes. So how will you use the power of video to tell your story? Let's go into that. Okay, for people that don't are not into video, people that are shy, or people that are not shy, where to start? There's so many ways to do this and to approach it, but in terms of business and a brand, um, these are some steps that you could take just to kind of put them on a sheet and be like, okay, I can make a video of this. So share your origin story. We're all unique, and we all have different backgrounds. As I was telling you earlier, um, where you come from, what you do, where you grew up, what your personal experiences were. Um, these things are very unique to everyone, and that it's impossible for two people to have that same origin story. Um, so one way of being original and connecting with new clients is to share that origin story, how you started your business, who you are, where you came from, what are your experiences, um, what makes you unique and special, and what makes you human that cares about the world to attract people to buy your business or your service. Um, think about that, write it down, be like, well, I have a very unique story. Once you start crafting it becomes easier to 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 share these things, and this sharing your origin story, this could be a whole year project where every week you say one special thing about your origin, and this could be, this could last. It has a long shelf life. So think about that, write things down, and we'll go back into it. Brand awareness. Now, in marketing, we talk a lot about brand, but brand is really on who you are, who the company is, what are the beliefs of the company, um, why you do what you do, how you do what you do. Um, and together with that brand comes the visual aspect, which either your logo, your uh, um, your style. This is all brand awareness. This is gonna create a long-term, recognizable elements. It could be a logo, it could be a picture, it could be just a design. It could be a feel, it could be a smell. This is brand, and you could talk about that, write things down, and it could also live for a while. Uh, Easy to do. Communicate your company's aspirations. Now, all companies have aspirations, and you could share those. The only way to get somewhere is by having aspirations. So if you want to grow to have 1,000 employees, then okay, that's your aspiration. What are you going to do to do it? And this is very transparent because video is very transparent. You could tell when people are lying or where they're honest. You could tell when people know what they're talking about or they're improvising on the spot. So have these aspirations on paper, and make sure your videos are also communicating that. One of the biggest things on YouTube is educational videos, educational and instructional videos. Now, how to, right? You you could think of anything basic. I mean, maybe 90% of things, how to fix a computer, how do lights work, how to play the guitar. There's a lot of educational and instructional videos that I think businesses can use that as a way to promote their brand, their product or their service, because it's very unique, but it's also enriching the minds of your clients or your new this new audience that you're cultivating. Um, you tell them, how certain things are done. If you're an accountant, you're like, well, you can make a short video of talking about how to do your LLC onto an S corp and why it's better to have an S corp than an LLC. Or you can there's a lot of different things that educational wise, that you need to educate your clients to um, for them to be better, really to learn, to grow, and at the same time they will help you grow because you created some bondage and some a connection, personal connection. Um, so educational and instructional content, that's a really big one, and it just never fails. People want to know how you do what you do, why you do what you do. Even like they want to see it, they want to feel it, they want to smell it. So um, think about what you do and how you could communicate, give an educational content of saying how you make this in 30 seconds to a minute, and you'll find ways to do that. And also once you compress it, let's say your product takes you 8 hours to make, but you have this homework of 1 minute of how to make this video, then you're really gonna just get the best, most satisfying parts of creating your craft. um, People are gonna love it, and I guarantee this is a really good one, the educational one. Yeah, so illustrate also product creation from start to finish. uh, these sometimes could go the wrong way if your video is too long. If your video is an 8 hour long video of how you install floors, um, we need to cut it. We need to think 30 second to 60-second videos uh, to get a point across and to showcase that we know what we're doing and that we do it with integrity and that we do it right. Um, and sometimes that editing part is very hard because we think that every single thing that we do to create this product is important. And for the consumer, they want to see the starting and the end, and they really want to see minimum of the middle part, because that's not their job. It's our job to create. Uh, so think of a 60-second way of saying of telling these stories, and you'll be good. Highlight customer stories. Now, you could interview, you could talk to a client, and have their get their feedback on what they think of your product, what they think of your service. And that's something that you'll reflect on in your business, but you could also feature it on a video. You could also say, well, let me just interview you for a minute, for 3 minutes, for 5 minutes. And out of those, you get one or two lines that are going to be gold. And that these kind of testimonials, they go a long way. Uh, people love people love to see themselves, um, enjoying your product. Uh, um, and it gives them more confidence and be like, well, yes, I will buy those shoes that you specially design, or I will take my baby to your daycare because I've seen testimonials, I've read testimonials, I and once you read them, it's a personal thing, but once you see it in a video, when someone expresses their content with the service, their security, their confidence in that service, that's golden. And if you're in business, you already have that. Your clients are there. It's just a matter of how to get from A to B, right? How to be like, well, I'll dedicate myself to making these 3 videos of highlighting customer stories, getting some testimonials, and get to work. Um, of course, ask for permission. It could even be online. You could Zoom call. You could Zoom a recording of a testimonial, And these things are very, very powerful. I can't recommend them enough. Go on to the next one. Create a personal connection with your viewers. Now, this applies for most businesses, maybe not for all, but people care about who they're supporting with their with their money, with what they're buying with their money. They want to know who are they supporting with that product that they're buying. So one of the things that I think help is to give a face, give a personal um a picture of who you are, or who your team is, right? Or what are your values? Some of the things that make you unique. And of course, culture and food and music are things that make you unique. They also, you could recognize in people when they have strong culture, is that they have family values, and that creates a connection where now a consumer is a supporter. Now a consumer cares about what you care about, uh, knows that we're in different cities, different countries, but we care about something that's important to both of us, and the, that creates confidence in supporting, or in buying, or in even exploring the idea of buying your service or product. Some of the other things that you could share about yourself, or about your team that you work with, your employees, is your hobbies. Maybe you say, well, my hobby is maybe I collect magazines, or I collect comic books. And these things don't, you may say, well, why? These things create personal connections. And at the end, it gives you a big picture of how and why this ties to your product or service. Um, it's very real human beings working with feelings, that have hobbies, that listen to certain type of music, that eat certain type of food. Now these people are the ones creating this product or service, and now you have this personal connection. Now you know who this person is, and I'm speaking as an audience, as a future client. Be like, wow, these they're regular people doing very, very cool things, very specific products, or provide a very important service, and they're also human, and I could relate to them. So then you start doing that connection with clients, and now you could start to have a relationship with these clients to help support your product or your service. So create a personal connection with your viewers always. um, some effectiveness on video storytelling, authenticity. There is no way uh, that there's someone exactly like you out there. Now there's a lot of similarities. Either you could be from the north side, you could be from the south side, or you speak two languages, you speak three languages, drive certain type of car. Now, yes, these are uh, similarities with other people, but your authenticity, it glows through cameras. People feel it. People, uh, people can read you through video. Uh, so be authentic. Uh, there's other things that you could think about, but this is really uh just certain like nuggets of information that you can add to your visual storytelling. uh the relevance, when I speak of relevance, it's more about the product. I was at I saw pools, and I because it's so hot over here in California, I decided to buy a pool. And once I bought a pool, I know that this was the type of business I want to get into. So I learned about it, and now you're like, wow, this is how he got into the pool industry, and now he's now this is his work, this is his craft. um Another big thing is honesty. People through video can see right through you. So uh, one way of helping you stay honest is writing things down, and having your values written down, so that you don't fly into other other things that don't that are not helping your cause, right? That are helping your product, your service, that you're talking directly to your clients, that you are that your service and your product is honest, and this is how you make a living. And not, don't buy me just because of that, but buy it because um, it is the right thing for you. um, and I always advise people to 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 get into businesses, or sell products that they believe in, that they would buy. It's so hard to get into something that you don't enjoy, or that you don't believe in. um, these things come through. So stay honest, be spontaneous. Now, this works for some people, it works less for others. um, but it's just something to have in mind. The good thing about video is editing. So really, you throw in a joke, it didn't work, it didn't hit, you cut it off. It's not that difficult. Uh, but let yourself be, be authentic, be honest, be spontaneous. Um, I talk about the educational part. I'm not going to touch it again, but education is a big thing. You and everyone could talk about their service or their product, very specific. Um, so I won't get into that too much, but I talked about it earlier. Positive energy. Uh, Microphones, cameras, they, yes, they capture light and sound waves, but there's something in there that also makes you realize certain things, and kind of wake up, and create a feeling. And the only way to I mean, it's hard to manipulate it, but the only way to do it is to have a lot of energy and a lot of positive energy that is going to go through these computers, through these cameras, through these microphones, and hopefully they land, and people get that from you. um the happiness, the positiveness, the energy that you emulate. Um, there's a very big one. I believe in. I believe in this one a lot, and I try to bring it every time I either give a presentation or I meet someone new, and keep that energy high. These things should tie to your end product. Um, One of the things that it's the relevance. um these things, why you do them, your honesty is gonna speak to these things. Start small. Now, okay, let's say we are lost and we have no idea how to start. Ask Google. This was the number one, the easiest thing you could do is ask Google. Or ask me. I'll have my email at the end. You could set up a meeting with me. We can have a on one. All of ESDC's services are free of charge, so we're always available to help, and help you grow your business, start your business. Helping out all types of marketing, promotional things, how to plan to grow. So if you're not gonna ask me, ask Google, and Google knows most of the things. Now, there's a lot of great people online providing services and very valuable information. And sometimes we forget, or we don't know how easy it is to find out something. Ask Google or ask me. I'll leave my email at the end, and we will keep in touch. Um, so start small. Define your audience. I was talking earlier about um, your audience. Who is your audience? And I would, if your product is an honest product and you really believe in it, your audience is has some similarities with you, either age group, cultural background, or social economic background. Um, so if you don't know how to define your audience, if you don't have a system, analytics, or anything like that, um, you are your audience. Would you buy from your own company? What do you want to see? What kind of content in video do you want to see? Uh, these kind of things are very important, um, to define. Once we're creating a platform into how to grow. So this platform has to be very strong. And once you define your audience, then everything else, it becomes a little bit easier. Once you're trying to shoot uh, everywhere, trying to get everyone a wide net, it's it's a little harder to create this personal connection through video with an audience or with a future client. Define your platform. I talked earlier about the social media, um, the social media pages, um, versus your website. Now, you could also be have a brick and mortar. So now you have a place where you need people to come, and so that is your platform. Um, Define it and be like, well, this is what I'm going to use to attract people, in combination with Instagram, Facebook, and uh, my face, person to person. That is that's a strategy now. Now you're using um, a few different stops to attract people to your store or to your brick and mortar. Use your gear. You do not need expensive gear. You do not need lights. You do not need microphones. You do need a cell phone, and I'm assuming everyone on this workshop are have a cell phone, and they're making very nice phones nowadays. And I'm pretty sure your phone has a camera, and you could start there. You do not need expensive equipment to start marketing, to start telling your story, to 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 um, to create beautiful content that people are going to like and to connect, and to how you're going to attract people. um it's as easy as it's really a 1 2 3. And now there's the phone cameras, and there's also editing tools that I didn't list on here, but I'll be making a list, and I could maybe share it afterwards. There's apps that do editing, that you could cut things off, that you could put music on, that you could really do really cool stuff for free on your phone. There's no the video is huge, and if you're not using it um, to market yourself or your business, it's a free tool that you could do. It just takes a little bit of time of planning. It just takes a practice. Really, the only way to make better videos, more interactive, fun, and how to attract people is by practice. The only way to make it better is by doing it. Um, So one of the start small things is set weekly goals. Now, be conservative, and if your and I'll put an example. If your Instagram, you have about 100 followers, you set a weekly goal. You'll be like, well, I want to add 10 followers a week. Now you have a goal. Now you have something to do. Now you have something to look forward to. How are you going to do that? Follow the steps that we talked about before. I'm going to be sharing this presentation also so that you guys could go back and remember what we talked about. But setting weekly goals is going to put you on a path to advance into these ideas. And also, once you have goals, like there's something in in the human mind and the human person that wants to hit goals, that you'll do what you would never do unless you have these goals set. So the easy way to do it is set weekly goals, be conservative, and I'm sure you guys will hit it following a few of these steps. Don't be discouraged. Some videos work and some don't. That's just the reality of things. First time you got on a bike, you probably fell. Did you get discouraged? No, you tried again and again and again until now you're riding your bike all over the city. So don't be discouraged. These things are they're alive. They're organic. Everything is moving. Even social media pages now. There's new ones now. There's better cameras now. People want to, people shift. Now they live somewhere else, but they still want to follow you and they want to connect with you. And a way is, with these videos. I'll put an example. Talking to someone on the phone and talking and FaceTiming. You've seen the difference of who you are and how you connect visually, and you hear them and you see them, and that type of connection doesn't happen with a picture and does not happen with just a phone call. That type of connection happens where it's interactive. So doing these 30 to 60-second videos creates this personal connection with you. Don't be discouraged. Some videos work, some don't. But practice makes perfect. There's nothing that you can't learn. So take these things. Some 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 of these tips work for some people and some don't. So take what you like, take what you think could work for you and for your product or for your service, and and then test it, try it. Don't be afraid of the camera. That I'm sure you will benefit a lot from making videos, posting on social media, driving people to your website, making sales. Well, my name is Jaime Garza from ESDC. Thank you so much. We're gonna go into questions, preguntas. These questions can be made in English or in Spanish. Preguntas pueden ser en español o en inglés. Y las contestaré en el idioma que me las pidan. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. So happy to be here. If you have any specific questions, I'm also going to share this slide presentation and my email if you want to schedule either a meeting or just want to really ask questions. We're open to that. ESDC is always helping the community grow and have a sustainable business. So any questions?
Hi, this is Geraldine from BACP. We did have a few questions come in. So the first one is how to specifically and efficiently know which 1 to 3 should be tapped for us to start with on social media. Is there a checklist or a chart that you could recommend?
I'm sorry, repeat it one more time.
Sure. How to specifically and efficiently know which 1 to 3 should be tapped for us to start with on social media. And then the follow-up question, is there a checklist or a chart that you recommend?
No, I don't have a chart list, but there's some overlapping in social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter as the one that I want to talk about. There's some overlap on a few of these, and when that order that I put them in, it's really by ages. Most of younger people are in TikTok, and most of older people, depending on your audience and your product, is at the end of the spectrum, which would be Twitter or sometimes LinkedIn. Those switch over, but it depends. If your clients are in their 20s and 30s, I would suggest the first three, which is TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. If your audience is in their 20s to 40s, then I would go through the middle, right? Um, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then if your industry, if it's more your service or your product is more for a for an older audience or even a higher a higher earning, I would go into the last three, which would be Twitter. Actually, the last two, Twitter and LinkedIn. Now, these shift and change. And that doesn't mean that no one on LinkedIn is on TikTok, because there is some people that do cross over. But the only way of doing it is trying it and seeing the click rate or the likes or the followers. You could tell right away what's working best for you. Um, but there is no chart, just because things are always changing. But there's just a basic way of knowing these, let's say, these three categories, and depending on where your audience is I think where you should focus on. Any other questions?
Great, that was great. I actually forwarded you directly in the chat a question in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just check that, that would be great.
Yeah, from Verónica. ¿Cuánto tiempo dedicaría al día al social media y mi negocio en promedio? Yo recomiendo por lo menos poner 3 posts al día. Y entonces no es de cuánto tiempo dedicarle, sino cuántos posts poner. Ahora, lo mínimo que debería poner es un post al día. Tal vez un buenos días, una foto del producto, un especial, por lo menos una vez al día. ¿Cuánto tiempo tarda en poner uno? A veces en 5 segundos, pero a veces es en 2 minutos o 3 minutos, porque hay que pensar bien inteligentemente en cómo, cómo poner esto en social media interesante y también productivo, o sea, algo que le interese a alguien. Ahora, si quiere hacer video, hay dos formas. Una forma es en vivo, Facebook Live o Instagram Live, donde al momento se está haciendo el video y, ya está viendo la gente. Otra es grabando un video y después ese video subirlo. Entonces, los videos puede tardar desde 3 minutos en hacerlo live, si ha practicado y si es buena, si ya sabe cómo hablar con la cámara y cómo interactuar con gente. Entonces un video de 3 minutos al día está perfecto. si requiere un poquito más de trabajo, entonces sugiero que haga un video y lo edite y lo corte nada más las cosas importantes, que dure 60 segundos, y en ese tal vez va a tardar unos 15 minutos a 20 minutos estar grabándolo y editándolo. Hay gente que es más rápida y hay gente que es más lenta, entonces por eso, ¿cuánto le dedica al día? Bueno, pues todo depende de qué tan rápida es. Y, pero si pone un post al día, es suficiente para empezar. Y podría ser Facebook o Instagram. Y también si está haciendo el video, ese video puede vivir en YouTube. Entonces, si lo va a editar, ese lo puede subir a YouTube y ahí va a estar y de ahí lo puede compartir a su Facebook o Instagram.
Great. Another question. First, thanks for sharing today, they said. And then, how do you recommend balancing being authentic but also demonstrating professionalism and knowledge? This is something that I grapple with being a new in my industry. Also, can you share your email in the chat, please?
Very good question. I mean, how to be authentic is that's a very authentic question. I mean, someone that asks themselves, you know, how do I do this? They're being very honest, and I think I mean, you start by saying who you are and what are your aspirations. You know, I think that carries a very important aspect of every person. So once you once you establish that, now everything that you say kind of ties to the person that you are. Depending on the industry, and then you were saying, and to keep it professional. Well, it's very interesting. I know some people that are very, you know, playful, but they're still very professional. I think that it's more about the work, the craft, and the dedication, more of the, you know, personal kind of hobbies kind of thing that make you attract an audience or attract clients. But you know, don't be afraid of not being authentic, because it's very hard. It's very hard to not be authentic. You know, be yourself, because people are attracted to that. People are connected to that. And I think, you know, once you have that behind you, now you could open up and kind of grow and let people in. That's kind of the best I could answer that question, but a very good question.
Perfect. Thank you. Another question. What are your thoughts on marketing B2B? I'm starting a consulting firm, and many of the resources I find lean heavily to B2C businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So business to business, it's still you're gonna define your audience, right? You're gonna define your audience, and your audience doesn't. Now you're not going out on a wide net. Now it's a little more specific. I think the way to go with B2B is a more LinkedIn, where most CEOs, executive directors, business owners are. But also depending on the product. In my neighborhood in Pilsen, a lot of the people that we help out, you know, they're restaurant owners, and they're not online all the time. Some don't have a Facebook page. Some don't have a LinkedIn page. So we recognize that we define our audience. We're like, okay, let me see. There's 500 businesses on the strip. 80% of those are not online. So a lot of clients that we help out in the neighborhood, it's people that we had to go and either phone call or stop by. So define your audience. I think that's kind of the first thing, because you could do real nice videos now. And don't get me wrong, like video still works for even people that are not online. I mean, I walk around and I have a few friends, artists that walk around with their iPad and offering a job, either how to, paint your business or that kind of thing. And they're like, well, I don't know. And they take out their iPad and they show them a short video of them at work. Now, uh, that sells. So, how to implement video uh, into your business, I think, is a big thing, and define your audience and where they're at. I think that's also a big thing.
Okay, great. Another question. When using LinkedIn, let's say you have an existing profile from when you worked as an employee, and now you're in the planning stages of becoming an entrepreneur. What is the best way to approach this? LinkedIn from an existing profile to a business page, create a new profile as an entrepreneur. What are the options?
No, I would not create two LinkedIn pages. I think it's confusing. Um, it any employer or any good employer wants their employees to grow and to learn and to really at one point any good employer knows that an employee will spread their wings and will do their own thing. So I think it's a little confusing to have two profile pages. I would, I mean, on LinkedIn you could put your aspirations, your plans, your crafting of your either your own business, but also have your having your naming your employer, and that just creates kind of an honest and dedicated employee that you could tell. Two profiles create confusion. I wouldn't recommend that. Um, yeah.
Okay, great. Another question. I'm struggling with stepping into the social media era. I'm a veteran that has been contracting for the last 10 years, currently in Iraq. What is something I need to do to jump in and get started?
Wow. It depends a lot on the business and the type of business and your end goals, right? We're not on social media uh, to just to hang out, really. Like some of us are on social media for certain goals. Depending on those goals is how you jump in and what you show on your social media. Um, if you're let's say you work on installing floors, um, that is your life. That's your livelihood. That's what you do. You could record some time lapses, right? Where your 8 hour shift goes by in 30 seconds, and they showed how did you do the whole thing. Now, this your business part showing, but also your human part, right? Your hanging out in your backyard, or going to your beach. Now, these two things, they're not conflicting. They're creating a persona for you. Um, People are gonna get people that are also in the floor business or that are interested in getting a floor, and people that like the beach are gonna start following you or interacting with you. Um, but I think the end goal is what do you want from it? Because that's the only way to know how to approach it. Um, and if it's a strictly social kind of have friends kind of thing, that's also fine. Not everything is business and not everything is work. Some people want to be on social media to be social, and that's fine. Um, and there's a lot of groups. Let's say on Facebook, there's a lot of Facebook groups with uh, specific like likes, right? Like let's say if you like classic cars, you search on Facebook for classic cars, or a good one also is like search for hashtags, hashtag classic cars, and you will get pages that there's hundreds, sometimes thousands of people that are into this one thing that you also like. So now you could start interacting with people, friending people, or following information of other people posting. So two different things. One is business balance, and then the other one's a social aspect. So define what you want and then follow that.
Okay, great. Another question. Can you name some friendly apps I can use and they are friendly for editing and making videos?
I started using Snapseed and VSCO. Another one called Prequel. These are and I use them very little, but they're super easy to use, super dynamic. Some of them are just for Instagram. Um, but there is a lot of apps. Really, it's really a search away. You go to your if you have an iPhone, you go to your app store and search whatever you're thinking. Editing video, editing sound, um, and you'll get a lot. You'll get the whole list of all the apps that there is. Some are free and some are some you gotta pay. Now sometimes the pay is like $3. Some are like 50 or 60. So depending on what level you're at and wanting to invest in this, then you could then get the higher end stuff is really really good. But these are just a few. I mean, there's a lot.
Great. Thank you so much. So we're getting a lot of great comments. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. They're asking if you could put your email in the chat,
Yes, I will.
please. And then that is all the questions that we have today. Want to thank you so much for your time and sharing all your knowledge with these great entrepreneurs looking to start and grow their business here. So thank you, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.